Here's 9 things I've learned from selling my first $30,000 worth of items on Whatnot. Welcome back, guys. If you're new around here, my name is Brad and I am one half of Two Aussie Thrifters. Over the last few years, we've sold a lot of items on eBay, but in the last couple of months, we've actually transitioned some of our stock over to Whatnot. And I'm here today to share with you some tips that I wish I knew when I first started selling on Whatnot, so that you can hopefully scale your Whatnot business without hitting any of these road bumps that we did. So let's get straight into it. All right, guys, tip number 1 is to plan ahead. Like any other platform or business, you need to know ahead of time what you're actually going to be running on that platform. So we like to schedule out a couple weeks in advance. We like to have an idea of what stock's going to go up in those shows, and we definitely make sure that we list those shows ahead of time on Whatnot so people can find you. And we try to make sure we advertise those shows ahead of schedule. So we usually give it a week, maybe even 2 weeks ahead of time. We're planning out what's going to go on each show. We also like to get listings up in those shows as quickly as possible so that people kind of see what's coming up and build some interest in those shows. And by planning ahead of time, we know that when the show comes up, that more people are going to show up and spend hopefully more time in the stream and hopefully more money as well. Tip number 2 is have good quality items. There is nothing worse than showing up to a show and someone just clearing out the crap that they couldn't sell on other platforms. I think it's really important to have some high-end pieces in your show to drag other people in. For example, tonight we are running this brand new with tags Wallabies jersey. It's actually like a trainer issue, I believe, and this will drag a few people in. Now, obviously, this might not go for as much as it will on eBay, but hopefully it drags the rest of the show up. And I think if you are showing really good items consistently on Whatnot, you are going to build a better audience long term. People are going to know that you have good quality stock and show up week after week because they never know what you're going to run. Whereas if you're just clearing crap that no one's really interested in and they're just buying it for the sake of supporting you, that's going to run out very quickly. You need good quality products. You need to be able to build relationships to get those good quality products. All right, tip number 3 might create a little bit of controversy, and it is about whether you should be listing each item individually or if you should be doing like a bulk listing and running your auctions that way. I think a bit of a combination of both is a great way to run these Whatnot shows. So we try to list up a few items ahead of schedule, maybe 20 to 30 of the kind of more draw card or higher end items that are going to be running that show that we know people are going to be interested in. And then we'll set up some profiles for some of those other items that we are running during the show. I think this way you have a little bit of an idea, or the buyer has a little bit of an idea of what's coming up, but there is also some mystery left in what is going to be run that night. So people may stick around a bit longer because they want to see what else you're running. I think if you only set up your shows with just random listings of 100 types of that listing, then people don't really know what you're going to be running. They don't really have an idea of what's coming, and they might just jump over somewhere else and disappear, and you've lost that buyer. So I think a little bit of a mix of both is probably ideal. The more you can list up in your shop, I think will obviously help you because more people will get to see what is going to be running that stream and decide if they want to stick around. But for now, we're doing a bit of a mixture of both. All right, guys, my next tip is all about shipping. So with Whatnot, the shipping is all done on weight and dimensions. So unlike other places like eBay where you can just shove things in a small, medium or large satchel and you know what it's going to cost, Whatnot doesn't work that way. So they've actually got their own shipping profiles that they've set up with AusPost. So this is where knowing how much your items weigh before you go live is super important. Because if you get that wrong and you undervalue the weight or undercharge the weight in this case, you might actually have to pay extra on top of what your buyer has paid in your Whatnot show. And conversely, if you list your item as too heavy, the buyer is going to have to pay too much shipping and they might not buy from your stream. So the way we do this is we set them up in different profiles. So if we are listing multiple things under one profile, it'll all be the same similar types of weight. So if we're doing a small, we might do 250 grams and that might be a t-shirt. If we're doing like jeans or something, it might be between 500 and 600 grams. And we kind of set those weight classes. And then when we're running individual items, we're going to know which profile they fit into anyway. So for example, if I pre-listed this NBA jacket, I might say that this is going to weigh 600 grams because it's actually quite a lightweight jacket. And then I know when the buyer pays for this item, they paid the correct shipping, and also Whatnot will be able to combine any further items they have coming up. So this is super important on Whatnot, is getting these shipping profiles right when you're setting up a listing, because if you get this wrong, you'll either be paying Whatnot too much money or your buyer will be paying Whatnot too much money. So get that right from the start. My next tip for you guys is about building community over on Whatnot. And I think having a social media presence, whether that's on YouTube, Instagram, or joining some Facebook groups, is definitely going to help you bring more people over to Whatnot. Because right now there is a lot of sellers on there, there's a lot of resellers, there are a few collectors around. You really need to be pushing into other markets to drag people into Whatnot so that your shows do the best they can. We have been advertising on like Facebook and using our Instagram and YouTube to talk about what we're selling. I do think that that has helped bring a lot of people over, and a lot of people are a little bit upset that people have advantages like this. But the thing is, you can build your own community just like this, and you don't necessarily have to be in front of camera. You can just build a little Instagram account, show off some items that you've picked up that week, and you're behind the camera just showing off what you found, and people will naturally start to see you as somebody that they can trust and believe in, and they can also see what's potentially coming up in the next couple of weeks. So I think building a community and bringing them over to Whatnot right now is definitely the best way to grow quicker than a lot of just general sellers that are being found through the search function and Whatnot. So if you can build yourself a little bit of a following, convert that to people that trust you and believe in you, you're definitely going to be more successful on Whatnot. The next tip kind of goes hand in hand with that one as well, and that is getting to know your community. So you've just built a community and people are coming to your shows, learning things about them, learning what they collect, learning their names in particular, and rewarding them for coming back over and over. Make sure that you are saying thank you when people buy things. Add a couple little extra things into their package when they're first buying. Can be ways that are going to build trust and relationship with your buyers, but it's also what we're there for, right? Whatnot is about connecting with other people, and that's something that we have really enjoyed about the Whatnot platform at this point in time, is how we have connected with a whole bunch of new people. We've had discussions that we would have had if we were just selling over eBay. So I think if you can learn more about your community and use that to grow your shows and show them that you're appreciative of them being there, then I think you're definitely going to be successful. My next tip is to run giveaways. Now this is an easy one. All you have to do is throw up a giveaway. You can do it for your followers or your buyers, or both, potentially run a few per show. I think this does really help people stay involved in your show. And it shows that you're thankful for all the people that have shown up. So we generally run a giveaway as soon as we get in. Throughout the stream, we may do 4, 5, maybe even 6, depending on the stream. So you can decide what you're going to give away. You don't have to be giving away crazy things every show, even if it's like a pack of cards or a shirt, something that people are going to be interested in and are just going to be thankful that you're running. And it also gives them a reduced shipping cost if they're going to buy other things, because you've essentially paid for their first shipping when you're sending out that giveaway. So it is a great way to keep people involved. If people are rating into your shows, it is great to set up a giveaway ready for that as well, because that way when people come in, they can actually hit that follow button to get into that giveaway that you're just running. So not only are you taking advantage of the people that are coming in, you're hopefully able to make them a repeat customer and a repeat buyer because they have now followed you, and they'll get notified when you go live on your next show, for example. So great way to build an audience and to give back to your community is to run giveaways. My next tip is to make it fun. Have some fun on Whatnot. Show people that you are excited about your product. Wear your product, for example, and show it off in your stream. Because the more fun you can create in that environment, the more people are going to stay and stick around and show you support as well. We like to add some music in the background. We have a stream deck for sounds that go off depending on what happens. So if someone makes a donation, we have a specialized clip that'll go off, or if they're a new buyer, we play some horns for them. So we just try to push things along in the auction and keep it up tempo and fun, because there is nothing worse than jumping into a stream and not really showing any interest in their own items. They're not talking about what they're selling. They're just kind of going, here's a card, would you like to buy it? Be excited about your product. I think that is one of the biggest hacks on Whatnot. All right, guys, tip 9 and our last tip for today is don't get butthurt if something goes for under comps on other platforms. It will happen. Some things on Whatnot will go for more money than eBay, but other things will go lower. Obviously, that also depends on how big your audience is and how much advertising you've done pre-show to get people in. But things do go for under what they will potentially sell on other platforms. Just don't get angry about it. Don't blame your buyers. Move on. The great thing about Whatnot is you're able to sell so many things so quickly that the averages make a lot more sense. Because you can sell 100 items in an hour, and you may lose $5 on one thing, but you're going to make that up by how quickly you are selling things over and over. And the more that you are happy for people to get deals, the more people are going to come back and keep buying from you. And you'll be quite surprised. Some of the prices we've been getting on there, we have been very surprised with. We definitely wouldn't have got that on eBay. So take the good with the bad with Whatnot, enjoy it and have some fun. A little bit of a bonus one here, guys. If you are brand new to Whatnot, you can get some discount codes. So if you are a new buyer to Whatnot and you sign up, you can get $15 off your first purchase. I will leave a link in the description below. And if you want to become a seller on Whatnot, you can sign up using a referral code from someone like us. I will also leave this in the description as well. And I think you get about $150 extra credit if you sell a certain amount of items and stream for over, I think, 2 hours in your first week. You get a little bit of a bonus just for hitting those metrics in those first couple of shows. So definitely worth signing up using those referral codes. Doesn't necessarily have to be us, it can be somebody else, but I've definitely be taking advantage of these things while Whatnot is offering them. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you bookmark our future shows. Tonight, which will actually be Friday when this video goes out, we're doing a massive Lego show, so come on over and check that one out. And we'll see you next time on 2 Aussie Thrifters. Bye for now.